As now because of the message, make the man come this earth. As John 3:16, the way he tell him about say in quote, for God so loved the world that God gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him will not perish but live life everlasting. End of quote. So man need to know and believe the message when Jesus Christ come teach us. As that thing, now it go be the thing when it go make us live life everlasting. The sayings of Jesus Christ as I present them for this my lecture series, so it they taken in the order that they appear in the Holy Bible. If they are essentially the same from one gospel to the next, the interpretation is not repeated unless some important point is detected. Sayings presented are those I feel represent the early public root of what has become called the quote, the law of attraction, end of quote. Upon closer examination, an additional law, in quote, the law of responsibility, end of quote, also emerges as an integral part of the master's philosophy. I would like to, at this junction, inform my listeners, say, this interpretation of the words of Jesus Christ are my interpretation only. I do not presume to be a higher authority regarding the meaning of the saying. By the same token, I'm no less of an authority. All men get the ability to seek and find the inner meaning of scriptures, regardless of religious persuasion and bias. I make little effort to describe the context of the quote, as in many cases, my reason for doing this is because the context of a statement is inconsequential to the interpretation of the meaning of the statement. Lord of Jesus. What is important is the stream of thought that is revealed in the teachings of Jesus Christ with respect to the subject at hand. It is important to view the entire thread pertaining to the spiritual laws of Jesus Christ if one is to reach any kind of reasonable conclusion regarding to his thought on the subject of the kingdom of heaven. We get three levels of interpretation when they employed, when attempting to analyze spiritual thought, my brothers and sisters. The first level when we get, I say, an objective analysis. The result of this mode of thinking are literal conclusions regarding concepts. Fundamentalists are prone to this way of thinking. The second level, now the subjective. This tend to dive a little deeper and answer the question, in quote, what does this passage mean to me, end of quote. This line of analysis is generally based upon a man's own life experiences regarding to the concept at hand, in which basis are your personal belief systems form the basis of your conclusion. The next level is the inner or spiritual meaning. It is here that few travel, as most have been told the meaning by a pastor or a priest. It requires the removal of personal bias and conditioning and demands that the mind open to the influence of deeper spiritual insight. Now the inner voice is speak at this level, and the result now often personal revelation. The historical accumulation of such revelation don't they consistent throughout the ages, and this one don't form the body of works which we now know as the secret teachings of Jesus Christ to mankind. Jesus Christ from the gospel of the kingdom of heaven, which is within man here on earth, tell man, say, in quote, take these things hence, make not my father's house a house of merchandise, end of quote. Lord of Jesus. Many people are familiar with the story when Jesus Christ threw money changers out of the temple. Sango says that based upon the above statement, say material things have no place in spiritual teachings. Brothers and sisters, this line of argument, they out of context with the entire stream of thought of Jesus Christ. It go fit they argued, say them they correct though, even though the plate is passed every Sunday and the church is one of the most richest and most powerful organizations in the world. They will say things of this world should be shunned. However, when man get another understanding of this quote above, man go see say Jesus Christ was talking about a man's own consciousness. And in that context, Jesus Christ was saying that when a man they focused upon higher spiritual thought, it is appropriate for the man not to be concerned with the troubles, the cares, the challenges, the problems, and the physical burdens of the man's life. For man to think clearly, then man must remove the merchandise or excess baggage from the mind of the man, in order for the mind to become focused on the kingdom of heaven, which there within the mind of man, according to Jesus Christ, for the book of Luke 17, verse 20 to 21. Jesus Christ, when he teaching to man about the kingdom of heaven, which there within the mind of man, here on earth in the present now, again, tell man for the book of John 4, verse 35 to 36, say, in quote, say not yet ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest? Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes and look on the field, for they are white, ready to be harvested. And he that reapeth receiveth wages, and gathereth fruit unto life eternal, that both he that soweth and he that reapeth may rejoice together. Blood of Jesus. End of quote. This now perhaps the first statement when Jesus Christ make, when directly begins the discussion of the unlimited abundance that is readily available to all man in the present earth, where all man they live as I put so today. Fundamentalists and religionists them will be quick to tell man, say this statement as now a reference to the words of God and has nothing to do with the material needs and wants